It means that when you see a begin the baby, make the begin not suffer. Many people, when they hear begin and child help, they think of education only. I make I remind you, even help, we want help. Take out the health, nutrition now, and like we say, not only success, we want excellence. Oh, we say, not success, only excellence. Not success, only excellence. Not success, only excellence. Not success, only excellence. Oh, so everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. That's why we have a conference like this. When people suffer, we look for solutions. That's why a manager like you, you look for solution and not complain. From here we know we got ambassadors all over the world. When you go all the way to the USA, God is something from you. When you go to Namibia, I say, God is something from the conference with you. When you go all the way to Benin, God is something with you. Always we say, everything's gonna be alright. 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 Oh, oh, everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. I feel so no, woman no cry. Make myself to make her own. No, woman no cry. No, woman no cry. Eh, oh, no, woman no cry. In finishing, I just say, when you educate a woman, you educate the whole world. When you educate a man, you educate the king and the head of the nation. We say so for you women, carry a lot with you from this conference. That's why there is hope in that woman. The woman who carries the baby, the woman who washes the baby, the woman who cleans and cares the baby, the woman for 9 months. You suffer and you suffer, but you know everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. So, no woman no cry. Adoamoshia, they say, no woman no cry. Oh, no, woman no cry. Oh, no woman no cry. Thou say, ndege wangu natamani, ndege ulokwisha mali, sasa wataka nini? Thou say, ndege wangu natamani, ndege ulokwisha mali, sasa wataka nini? Wapita watu wawili waloleta uramani, sasa tuko mbali mbali, sasa tuko mbali mbali. Emedodo, imelala mchangani. Emedodo, imelala mchangani. Wauba na mazoea, uwe wangu wa milele. Wauba na mazoea, uwe wangu wa milele. Ndege wangu, ndege ulokwenda, ndege ulokwisha mali, sasa wataka nini? Ndege wangu wa thamani, ndege ulokwisha mali, sasa wataka nini? Wapita watu wawili waloleta uramani, sasa tuko mbali mbali, sasa tuko mbali mbali. I will meet you at the river. I will meet you at the river. Don't tell him no, them like Jesus. I'll make peace to the karenge. Issue go down the karenge. I'll make peace to the karenge. Issue go down the karenge. Oh Hiraja, oh Masiya, mere jiva ka sahara. Oh Hiraja, oh Masiya, mere jiva ka sahara. Machenge, machadenge. Yesu kigonga karenge. Machenge, machadenge. Yesu kigonga karenge. Nadirage tom tanana, 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 nadirage tom Yes, If you don't understand this song, I'm translating it now. It says, whoever is coming for a conference like this, if you go back the same way you came in this conference, somebody like that, me say, you need a touch. You need a touch. If you even not greet your neighbor or make friends, somebody like that, me say, you need a touch. You need a touch. If you come to the conference 3 days and you get nothing, you get nothing. Somebody like that, me say, you need a touch. You need a touch. If you come to the conference and the speakers are speaking, and you find yourself sleeping, and you say, you need a touch. You need a touch. Or if you sit at the front and you get nothing, get nothing. Even if somebody like that, me say, you need a touch. You need a touch. This song went all the way to the UK. UK means United Kisumu, just in Kenya. So when you go to Waluo, they say, before you give me this song, you must give me an iPhone, IMAX, idea, technology. And then they say, Mullah, Mullah, they say Mullah, 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 yes, Mullah, Mullah. Then the song traveled and went to Kakamega. What is ever best? Kabla utuimebo hii wimbo basi, lazima uonyeshe alama ya kuku. Mboka. Hey, like that person, yes, you are relating with it. I can see you very well. Ndio nasema, Nyasai, wale. They say, miracle, 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 miracle. Another time, it went to Cumberland, Eastland, and this guy said it in soprano. By the way, unaweza kuniambia basi? Niambie, hii wimbo basi naimoja? And they say, oh, Guza, Guza, oh, Guza, Guza. Somebody like that, whoa, you need a touch, a touch. You need a touch where people are studying and you are on WhatsApp and Facebook. We think you're concentrating, but you're on Instagram. That's an Instagram. If you're on Instagram sending what about the conference, that's okay. But if you use that as an excuse not to listen to the speaker, you need a touch. If you use Facebook to take selfies and not sambaza and spread the word that a conference like this is happening, you need a touch. We use social media to tell people what's happening here. But if you don't use it to tell people what's happening, you need a touch. Oh, Hutia, 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 Hutia. J'ai l'assurance d'être sauvé depuis que Jésus vit dans ma cœur. La vie éternelle, il m'a donné. Je suis allé à perpétuité qui me sépare de l'amour de Christ. Ni nudité, ni domination, ni ennuyage, ni domination. Rien ne me sépare de l'amour de Christ, 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 de l'amour de Christ. Amour, amour, everybody loves the moon. Rien ne séparera de l'amour de Christ. How we dance. Let me tell you, characteristics of African music. The first one is repeat, 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 and when you're done repeating, repeat again. Because repetition fosters memory. Characteristic number 1. Number 2, Africans, we must dance until you sweat. Now thank God this room today is humid. You just might find yourself sweating even without dancing. Characteristic number 2, even if you're not clapping, you clap with the head, clap with the eyes, clap with the shoulders. Somehow in Africa we got to just move. Yeah, like that woman, moving. We can even see your hair move, yeah. Characteristic number 3, in Africa we love to clap. Alright, and this time some of you have been looking down for a while. We're going to have a clapping exercise, including you. So let me see those already. You follow the leader, okay? You only clap when I clap. Let's go. Some people miss that. Even you follow the leader. Let's go. Some people got it. Oh yeah, in Nigeria, if you don't go participate, that means there's plenty sin in your life making you happy. You cannot even smile. Oh yeah, hey. One more time. Let's go. You got it there. Hey. You got it one more time. Now, concentration now begins. I didn't clap. One more time. That is the one to welcome our MC. MC Leonia. MC Leonia. MC. Keep on clapping. Thank you.
Let us give Elena Mohati a clap, ladies and gentlemen. And kindly, Elena, don't leave the stage. I'm only doing some housekeeping, and then you move it on. Is it in order? If it's in order, another clap for Helena. Asante. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to make a few housekeeping so that we'll be able to receive His Excellency the President in a moment from now. I want to announce that we are now moving on to the formal program. One thing that I want to request, kindly, with the indulgence, is we manage our phones. We are moving on to a formal program, and managing our phones means even being within the holding area without moving out to receive calls. It's only a brief moment, 30 minutes program, and then we'll be done. Kindly, let us manage them. And it will help me also to request the guys at the Strong House also to do so, because you're very close people to the machines, and your frequency and the frequency of the phones will be sometimes having a loggerhead. Two things. It is prudent, it is our culture, that when the President is joining us, we will be upstanding. It is also allowed for you to applaud him, give him a lot of applause. If you feel like you want to do some ngemi, you can do for your President or for your good friend that you've met today for the visiting delegation. We will remain standing until the President takes his podium. At the podium, we'll do two sets of anthem. We'll start with the Kenyan national anthem, followed by East African Community Anthem. And for those who know the wordings, I will kindly request that we all sing, because we know it. Thirdly, I will also request that when the program will be moving on, we concentrate on the issues that will be taking place. I'm told that we are live on several coverage TVs and online programs, so be with us. Don't listen with your eyes closed. And I'll be happy that we see the end of the program in a good way. All these visiting delegations are from the UN organizations, and all the delegates from the across the globe, we say, karibuni sana. Can someone say karibuni? Karibuni sana. That means? No, my good brothers, Kenyans. Can we welcome our visitors? Karibuni sana means what? Welcome. Welcome. I can hear some French speaking people responding back to me. Asante. Thank you. So I'll give it back to Elena. And at the moment that the president will be coming, I'll signal you so that we all be upstanding and we observe the housekeeping, the small norms that I've shared with you. Thank you so much. Elena?
Merci beaucoup. Bienvenue. That's French. Loli we wai, dudula. Loli we wai, dudula. Loli we wai, dudula. Nangesita. I know you're wondering which language I am singing. I have said, don't listen with your eyes closed. Loli we wai, dudula. Nangesita. Bienvenue, bienvenue. Karibu wasani. Everybody welcome to Kenya. It's not usually hot like this. Loli we wahai, idudola. Nangesita. Sula sonye mezi mtagwe tu. Sula sonye mezi mtagwe tu. Sula sonye mezi mtagwe tu. Nangesita. Sula sonye mezi mtagwe tu. Sula sonye mezi mtagwe tu. Sula sonye mezi mtagwe tu. Nangesita. Ezulu ekhosini udlali ngezodwa mawufunayo ukuya khona tandaza. Ezulu ekhosini udlali ngezodwa mawufunayo ukuya khona tandaza. Loli we wai, dudula. Loli we wai, dudula. Loli we wai, dudula. Nangesita. Loli we, dudula. Loli we wai, dudula. Loli we wai, dudula. Nangesita.
Helen Mtawali. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I can promise you it's not easy. I have tried it and I know it's not easy. Especially when you have to do so many things at once. You are singing, you are dancing, and composing also on the spot. My mind knows exactly what it wants my legs to do, but they keep on disobeying. And that way it becomes a disaster. Helen Mtawali, you'll continue. And I request you give us, she has taken us through a number of countries in Africa. If you could bring us back to Kenya as we wait for His Excellency the President. We have been requested to kindly manage our phones. Sometime we forget, because when this was announced, I was using the phone, and unfortunately it will ring at the most inappropriate time. Kindly let us put them on silent mode, including us who are providing other services. Sometimes we forget. And mine also. I need to make sure it won't misbehave also. At the end of the function, we will most humbly request His Excellency the President for an opportunity to have a photo with a few of us. We are many. It will not be possible to have everybody. So I will request that the board of the board represents us at the photo. The staff, the board and the staff together, and the partners that we have. So at the end of the function, we will most humbly request His Excellency the President. And if the President consents, then we quickly move outside here. There is a place where we have set up for a photo, so that the President won't wait for us, we wait for the President. Anytime from now, His Excellency the President will be joining us. And we pray and we believe this will make it a brief session so that we can also continue with the rest of the program that we have for today. My colleague, Getone, and the Principal Secretary for Education will take us through. My colleague, Getone, will do the first part of the program, and then the Principal Secretary for Early Childhood Education, Dr. Kipsang, will take the second part of the program. We hope to do this in 40 minutes so that we are able to move on with the rest of the program. I wish you a very successful program, ladies and gentlemen. Helen Tawali from Kenya, where would you want to take us? We are going to Western Kenya. She's taking us to Western Kenya. Karibuni.
Manage your phones, 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 manage your phones. Yananga, mbolele yananga, mbolele yananga, mbolele yananga, mbolele. Unaona wageni, wanapo baba, unaona mwache, unapo baba, unaona wazungu, wanapo baba, unaona Sudani, wanapo baba, unaona wageni, wanapo wageni, wanapo boda, wanapo baba, wanapo boda. Very funny. So I'll give you an example of how we sing English in Luyaland. That will take you a time when you are feeling lonely. That will take you a time when you are feeling good. That will take you a time when you are feeling lonely. That will take you a time when you are feeling good. That will take you a time when you are feeling taking your time when you are feeling confident. Taking your time when you are feeling low. Taking your time. Taking your time. Taking your time. Taking your time when you are feeling low. Taking your time when you are feeling low.
A few of us might know it. Tunaomba uwepo wapo, enda nasi. The Kenya Police Service Band, the first track, enda nasi. Let us appreciate our band. They will also be presenting us the second song, When Jesus Comes. And any moment from now, His Excellency will be joining us.
Thank you. About half there, the conference is wasted. About half there, the conference is wasted. It's about. We are both fine.
Thank you so much, Kenya Police Service Band. Thank you so much for your applaud. They'll be giving us the third track, Officers of the Day. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we be upstanding for His Excellency the President. Let's give a round of applause for His Excellency the President. your gracious permission, Your Excellency, the national anthem, Kenyan, and the East African Community Anthem. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief, the President Cabinet Secretaries, the President PS, the African Chair and the founder of the AfECN and the members, board members present, UN organizations, delegates across the globe, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, with your gracious permission, allow me to invite the PS, Dr. Belio Kipsang, to take us through the next program. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Cabinet Secretary is present, the Governor of Nairobi, the Chair of the African Early Childhood Network, the Executive Director of the African Early Childhood Network, my colleagues in government, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nairobi, welcome to this conference. Our delegates would want to appreciate your coming to Nairobi and for this very important conference and having had a very successful morning session. Again, with your permission, sir, I would want to welcome the delegates, take some little time to sample what is in this city of Nairobi, the only city with a national bank within it. So let's get time to see the Big Five. Welcome. Your Excellency, sir, with your permission, let me invite the chair of the African Early Childhood Network to make some comments. Karibu, Professor.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, honorable members of government, participants, most of whom are what I call the foot soldiers out there in the field, making a difference in the lives of children day in and day out. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just about 3 messages to leave us. And the first one is that we need to celebrate the fact that there are millions and millions of children who are happy, who are well developed, have the potential to be productive and communicate, contribute to our society. But there are also millions and millions of them who are deprived of opportunities to develop to their fullest potential because of any range of factors: poverty, disability, disease, strife, and indeed wars that have plagued a number of our countries. My second point I want to do, we have to meet the needs of all these children. My second point is that we need to cultivate the notion that development is a multiple dimensions. And it's not just health, education, social service. They each are these 3 things or 5 things actually brought together. One of the things that we are benefiting from with the nurturing care framework is brought together these multiple domains: health, nutrition, early learning, responsive care. And I'm hoping that when our governments support programs, they will also be creating synergy across the multiple sectors that work for children and families and communities. Thirdly, context matters. It matters a great deal, but I want to address 3 contexts. We are all about our children, but the immediate context in which children develop is the family. The family itself is also a developing entity, and it develops in the context of the community. The community is also a developing entity, and it develops in the context of a nation and within a globe. So the message here is, while we are taking care of children, we need to understand that our policies also need to remember the families and the communities without whom our children's development will be stifled. So the implication for us is that we need integrated approaches to providing services for children, families, and communities. And I want to thank His Excellency for all the work that Kenya is doing on behalf of children, families, and communities. And my hope is that we'll continue to do that.
Thank you, sir. With your gracious permission, let me request the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Cecily Kariuki, to make some remarks. Karibu Waziri.
Your Excellency, our Chief Guest, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, colleagues from government, both national and county, our partners from the development world, researchers, professionals, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to restate what we have picked this morning, that indeed realization of Kenya's development cannot be attained without a special focus on childhood development. While noting that improvements have been made in neonatal, child and maternal mortality rates in Kenya, a lot more remains to be done. And it is for this reason that the Ministry of Health, working with colleagues and stakeholders in the country, continues to work at developing care for child development. And in the recent past, we have developed care for child development and integrated community care management packages, which are aimed at promoting responsive caregiving. Indeed, it is in realization of the fact that integrated child development is on the critical path of the realization of universal health coverage. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Health will continue to play its role in ensuring integrated early child development gets its due attention. And for this reason, I'm here to stand with stakeholders in committing that my ministry will continue to root for an integrated to move on with the program, and in just demonstrating that only through an integrated approach shall we be able to realize our development aspirations as a country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CS Cecily Kariuki, my dear sister and friend. Your Excellency, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, my colleagues, Cecily Kariuki and Fred Matiang'i, the Chairman of Board of the Early Learning Network. Your Excellency, before I speak, I'd like to invite the Governor of Nairobi County, Governor Mike Sonko, to make a few remarks.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Cabinet Secretaries present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to join you here today for this important conference. We at Nairobi City County Government take education seriously. We have invested time, money, and effort to ensure that we improve access and retention opportunities for all children. When I took over the Nairobi City County government, one of the complaints I had to address right from the beginning was from parents who felt that the cost of education within the city was too high. Many parents had opted to take their children to informal schools that lacked basic amenities. As a result, I directed that ECDE be made free of charge. Your Excellency, for about 1 year, we have successfully run our nursery schools without demanding any money from parents. Every child now enjoys a capitation grant of 3,800 shillings. The result has been a great transformation of early childhood development education. Infrastructure has improved in our 229 centers, including installation of flat toilets in schools and free milk, packet of milk to take to his younger brother.
Of 31 of our governors who have joined us from across the so that we can recognize them. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, I register our gratitude to you for presiding over the opening of this first ever Africa Early Childhood Network International Conference. Your Excellency, I think that you have given us instructions over the last 6 or 7 years on the importance of early childhood development and education, and we would like to thank you very, very much for the heavy investment that you have made in this area. The conference, Your Excellency, will explore strategies for laying a firm foundation for early childhood education in the continent. This commitment is informed by the appreciation that sound ECE is essential for the successful educational outcomes required to spearhead development on our continent. Across Africa, commendable progress has been made in the provision of ECE. Here in Kenya, we have also done our bit, boys. The institutional, policy, and legal measures in place have greatly improved the management, coordination, and supervision of early childhood development programs across our country. Moving forward, the ministry is working closely with county governments as well as development partners to further streamline the ECE sector and to address outstanding challenges. Our overall goal, Your Excellency, is to ensure we achieve universal ECD by the year 2020. I'm confident that through partnerships and sharing of good practices within and beyond our continent, we will lay a firm foundation for the development of human capital, the human capital that we need on the continent to take us into the next economic frontier. Your Excellency, at the national level, we've been able to develop an ECD policy, which we have launched. We have also developed guidelines on the implementation of this policy that was launched yesterday and is being distributed, even as we speak, across the country into the counties. And so I am hoping that with the distribution of the guidelines, that we will actually see better and improved enrollment of our children into ECD. Your Excellency, we are also very privileged to have the executive director of this network being one of us, a Kenyan academic who has done amazing work in the early childhood area. And I'd like to introduce her. Her name is Lynette Okengo, and I'd like to ask her to please stand up. Your Excellency, she and all the board members have done an amazing job in preparing for this conference, and I'd like to thank them very, very sincerely. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like now to ask you to be upstanding as I request His Excellency to come and address us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amina. Please be seated. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me begin first and foremost by apologizing for coming late, but I got caught up in an engagement that I couldn't abandon, so my apologies once again. The Governor of Nairobi, Governor Mike Mbuvi, the Chairperson, Dr. Kofi Marfo, spouses of our governors here present, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by saying that I'm delighted to join you today at the first edition of the Africa Early Childhood Network International Conference on Early Childhood Development. This conference, without doubt, will provide us an opportunity and a platform to share knowledge, exchange experiences, strengthen and build new collaborations to scale up best practices in early childhood development. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure we're all aware, early childhood development is an important period for every child that is marked with emotional, physical, and social development. The global community has collectively agreed that investing in early childhood development has potential huge returns on our children. Evidence has shown that children who have experience in quality early learning programs stay longer in school and demonstrate better learning outcomes. The Journal on Health, Series 2016 on ECD, highlights that the first 1,000 days of a child's life are critical for brain development, with an emphasis on the most fundamental promotive experiences for a child in the early years of life. Therefore, ECD is no doubt one of the best programs that a government can invest in for the good of individual children and their communities, but also for sustainable, broader progress, prosperity, and development of countries. The African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child promotes and protects the human rights and basic freedoms of African children, recognizing that children require specific safeguards and care. This is echoed by our own Constitution and also by our own Kenya Vision 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, early childhood development and education to expand and to improve child services to the county government aims at ensuring there has been an increase in enrollment of preschool children, 106,938 in 2017.